starting now. So I want to welcome everybody to tonight's session, a very, very special session with Suzanne Digre. Suzanne was a guest on the podcast back in episode 49. I had a really good time talking to her. We talked weightlifting. We talked about specifically female strength training and a lot of the myths, misconceptions, a lot of the beliefs that are out there about it, and really just why it's something that is underappreciated, at least in my opinion, by a lot of people, especially people who are on a weight loss path. So I'm really excited to have her here today. She's an expert in the field, is a coach now on Photocracy, doing some awesome group training there, has been a personal trainer for a number of years, has a ton of experience in that realm, one-on-one and doing online coaching as well. I know that we've been in some of the same circles for like educational training, and some of the conferences that we've attended are in the same circles too. So I'm a big fan of what she's doing, and I've seen some of her online work before. I'm a big fan of it again. So I will step aside and let you take over, Suzanne.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everybody. Hopefully what I have to say is useful to you. I know that many of you want to lose weight, and I do coach people who want to lose weight, mostly women, and I always incorporate strength training in their workouts. So I'm a passionate supporter of strength training and lifting, not only for what it can do for your body, but mentally, and the transformation of empowerment that can happen when you're feeling yourself stronger and being in an environment where you're not used to it, but you're mastering it. And I've just seen the confidence level grow in women enormously after they can master some of the techniques of strength training, though at first it can seem pretty intimidating. And even, you may wonder why you would need to strength train, though I'm sure some of you already have a good idea, but it's not just aesthetics, though weightlifting will definitely sculpt your body. So once you begin to build muscle, and we'll talk about building muscle, not like becoming the Hulk, you gain more shape to your body, and your body composition changes so that your clothes fit differently, and there's just a different look to your body. So that's just the aesthetic benefit, obviously, but more muscle for your body means higher metabolism. So muscle burns calories at rest more than fat, and the more muscle you can have, the more calories you're going to burn. So that's a huge benefit. And I've found that when people do start putting on muscle in their weight loss journey, their weight loss speeds up. So there's really something to be said for that. And in my coaching, I always incorporate strength training in a way that allows them to build muscle instead of just burning fat. So where was I going with that? Oh yeah, the bulking up. So let's just talk briefly about the myths, because I know that there's a lot of myths out there about strength training and women who strength train, bulk up, and look really big. And it's a myth that persists. So just to give you a frame of reference, I'm 5'3" and pretty small person. I mean, very petite person, and I lift very heavy 4 times a week. So we just don't have the testosterone that's needed. We don't have the hormones that are needed to put on a lot of muscle like men do. And, the women that you do see bulking up really heavily and really like grotesquely muscular are using enhancement drugs. So, it's very difficult to build muscle. Let's just put it that way. You have to work really hard, and you're not going to be getting huge. I mean, it depends on your body type too. So if you're a mesomorph, you probably are going to put on muscle more easily than someone like me, who's a, not endomorph, can't remember the other one, ectomorph, that's what I am. So you do have to adjust your training based on your body type, and we always take that into account. But even that being said, you're not going to bulk up. Another myth is that you can reduce areas of your body. So you may want to go in there and work on your inner thighs. A lot of women want to do that. They want to reduce the fat in their belly and their lower belly area. They want to get rid of that flabby area under the triceps, which a lot of times that happens when you've lost weight. There's that skin there. Well, this is all fine and good because strength training does allow you to build muscle in certain areas, but you can't lose fat that way. And so if you have extra fat on your inner thighs or your belly or your triceps, you're not going to be able to go in and isolate those muscles with strength training and get rid of the fat. So that doesn't work. What you do need to do is you need to use compound movements, which are movements that use multiple joints and multiple muscles. So for instance, a deadlift uses your whole body. A squat uses all the muscles of your lower body. An inner thigh machine, which is called an adductor machine, uses your adductor muscles. And it's great if you want to firm up that area and tone it, but you're really not getting very much bang for your buck. So you need to really focus on exercises that work many muscles and joints at once. So that's kind of getting off topic, but that's part of the myth that you can spot train different areas for fat loss, which you can't. Another myth is that muscle turns into fat if you don't work out, or fat turns into muscle. And that's not true. There are two different types of tissues. And once you start losing weight, you'll be able to see your muscles better. But unless you strength train, you're not going to have that change in your body composition. So there's something called skinny fat, I'm sure you've heard. Not a derogatory statement. It's just something to describe that you have more body fat than muscle, and you may still be really thin. But the problem with that is that we already lose muscle every year as we age, starting, some say, in their 20s. So you have to counteract that with strength training, whether you want to lose weight or not. So it's another good reason to strength train. So, once you lose the weight, it's more important than ever to strength train, and during especially. So it should be definitely a part of your workout. You don't need to spend an hour in the gym. You can do 5 exercises in a circuit. You could spend 15 or 20 minutes a day, or not even a day, but 3 times a week, and get great benefits from strength training. You don't have to go in there and train each body part for 30 minutes each, or do a different body part on each day. What I have my clients do is integrate strength training into kind of a high intensity manner, so that they're doing a circuit of strength training exercises with little rest, and then they get it done fast, they get their heart rate up, and they're building and maintaining their muscle. So when you're in a calorie deficit, it's easier than ever to lose your muscle. I told you that you were already losing it on a yearly basis just by aging. It's a natural process. But when you're in a calorie deficit, you're losing more muscle than normal, because muscle's the first thing to go. So the leaner you are, the more muscle you're going to lose when you're in a calorie deficit. So it's yet another great reason to strength train. Very important not to lose your muscle. I've had clients who have lost a lot of weight training with me, and they just couldn't make it happen to get to their strength training. And we monitored their body composition with body fat calipers, and they lost so much muscle during that process. So it's really sad, because then you've got to, try to integrate that into your routine, yet now you're not in the habit. So now you've got to try to get it in there, when if you had just started when you were getting into exercising to begin with, it would be a lot easier. So I hope that makes sense. I kind of wanted to get into how to, formulate your own workout plan. So you probably want to, you just want to get started, right? If you're not already lifting weights. Like I said, compound movements that use a lot of different muscles. So you don't want to go in there and just focus on triceps or biceps. You don't want to just do a bunch of crunches. These are all exercises that only hit individual muscles. What you want to do is exercises that hit a lot of muscles, because you're going to be burning more calories that way, and you're going to be getting more bang for your buck. You can get out of there quicker. You'll tone and condition your entire body. So we're talking squats. We're talking deadlifts. You can do different types of deadlifts. Got to be real careful with the weight and go lighter on those. You can do bench presses. That's an upper body compound movement, because it's using your shoulders, and it's using your elbows and your back. Lots of different muscles being engaged, even core being engaged with a bench press. And you can do it with dumbbells or barbell. All kinds of back exercises are super important. Like if you can get on the assisted pull-up machine and do that one, it's really, really good for your back muscles. And you want to be balanced so that you're really strong in your back and not just your mirror muscles. So your chest would be one of your mirror muscles. Your back is really even more important than your chest, because we're sitting at computers day in and day out. We get hunched over, and it not only hurts your posture, but it's going to cause problems. It's going to cause movement dysfunction. So you really need to strengthen your back muscles to keep your shoulders strong and counter out the effects of sloping shoulders. You get back pain that way if you don't do that. So back muscles. So pull-ups, lat pull-downs, bent over rows, all great exercises. Cable rows, so if you're seated and doing rows that way. So there's really just pulling. So you're pulling down, and that's the back muscles. Pushing, which is chest, and you want to get your bench press in, and maybe your incline bench press, maybe push-ups. Get those at the level you need to be at, and maybe put your hands on an incline to start. A lot of people, they go to their knees to start off with push-ups, and from what I've read research-wise, it's not a good way to get to real push-ups. So knee push-ups, they can strengthen you, but they're not a good progression to full push-ups if you ever want to do them. So I would start off by putting your hands, and depending on your level, you can start off putting them on the wall and do wall push-ups, and then you can just lower your hands over time. You're getting stronger and stronger, and before you know it, you're on the floor. So I've seen a lot of people succeed that way. And developing your chest muscles will also develop your shoulders and have those nice shoulders and arms. So we've covered back and chest, and then legs. I kind of got off topic on that, but you want to develop your gluteal muscles and your hamstrings. You want to develop your quads, and these are all muscles that can be worked with squats. They do squats. You can do them with dumbbells or barbells, and deadlifts. And then what was the other one I was going to say? I don't know if you have a kettlebell. You can do kettlebell swings. Leg press is a great one. Leg press machine, if you have that. And there's all kinds of different variations of these exercises. So those are the main muscle groups. And then you can start looking at training your biceps and triceps. And you might want to stick a shoulder press in there too, because that's kind of a medium muscle group, but you want to hit it probably. So I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but I'm just kind of rambling on. So those are the exercises. I know there's a lot of questions about exercises, but like, how do you know what to do in there? Well, you want to look at starting off with maybe a couple of sets, 2 sets of each exercise, and then maybe 10 to 12 reps. So, and how do you determine how much weight to lift? This is the most common question I get, okay? So I've got a really easy way to figure this out. So you go in there, you decide you're going to do a bench press, you're going to do a bent over row, you're going to do squats, and you're going to do, let's just say a leg press, which, yeah. But anyway, let's just say you're going to do those. So you say, I'm going to do 2 sets of each exercise. I'm going to do each one for 10 to 12 reps. So how do you know how much weight to lift? What I want you to do is pick up the weight, see if you can do 12 reps with it. If you can't, see if you can do 10 reps with it. If you can't, then you need to lower the weight. See if you can do, pick up the next weight down and see if you can do 10 reps. So that's the bottom of the rep range I gave you, 10 to 12 reps. Okay. Once you can do 10 reps with good form, then you've got the right weight. Once you get to 11 reps, that's good. You can now do 11 reps with that same weight. If you want to do, keep going, the next time you go in, do 12 reps with that weight. When you can do more than 12 reps, you need to increase the weight. I hope that makes sense. I kind of like rambling on here. But anyway, you got a rep range. You need to start at the bottom and work your way up to the top and then increase the weight. It's really that simple. So how many exercises should you do? A lot of people go in and they think they need to do, 7, 8 exercises. I used to do that myself. I used to go in and I'd be in there an hour and a half, and I'm not lying. But I started getting better results, building more muscle when I lowered the time I was in there to 60 minutes and only doing 5 or 6 exercises tops. So it's just not necessary. You're going to overtrain and maybe, get some injuries over time if you do too many exercises. And you need to just kind of keep it to the basics. That's the best thing to do. And if you want to integrate some cardio into that workout and get your heart rate up and burn calories, then you can lower the rest time. So say you're going to go in and you're going to do squats for 10 to 12 reps, 2 sets. Well, don't rest very long between the sets. Just rest 30 seconds. Or do squats, then move right to bench press, then move right to deadlift, then move right to bent over row. And don't rest at all until the end of that sequence. And then you've got your heart rate up and you'll be feeling that. So, anything I'm not covering that you want to see me cover?
Those were everything that I had on my list that we had talked about to prep for. We're coming up on 8:00 Central, so right about the halfway point. I'm ready to open up to questions if you are, Suzanne.
Sure.
Also, for everyone up there, make sure you're unmuted if you want to ask a question.
Can I start?
Yeah, jump right in, Jamie.
Thanks. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
Thanks for doing this.
Sure.
I wanted to ask, I have a knee injury, which I will have fixed surgically later, but my doctor and I decided to wait till I lose a little more weight. So I can walk and ride bike and do all that stuff, but it does seem to be aggravated by squats. So what would you recommend for starting off if I can't do, I can do like a half squat, but once I go beyond that, like if I'm doing kettlebell swings, then I basically re-injure my knee.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, here's what you need to do. You need to think of exercises in terms of hip dominant or knee dominant. Okay. So a squat is both. It's both knee and hip dominant. Kettlebell swings are hip dominant. So if you're doing a kettlebell swing correctly, you should be using your hips more than your knees. Now, I don't know why it's hurting your knees, but that's the first thing you need to do. You need to think about this exercise hip or knee dominant. Am I using my knees or my hips? And if you're using your knees when you should be using your hips, it's going to hurt.
Okay.
So exercises that you may want to try would be, I would have probably said kettlebell swing, but since that hurt your knee, I have no idea what's going on. It could be like your hamstring or who knows. But have you ever tried glute bridges or hip thrusts? Yeah. Okay. So that's what you need to be doing. Hopefully if it does not hurt your knee. But a glute bridge is when you lay face up on the floor and you bend your knees. And then you lift your hips.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Okay. Well, then that's one of the best things you can do. Okay. And they don't hurt your knees, right?
No.
Okay. There's different ways to progress that. So if that becomes too easy, or you can do like 15 or 20 of them, no problem, then you can use one leg, or you can elevate your shoulders.
Okay.
You can also elevate your feet and, make it harder and harder. Let me see. Okay. Sorry. There's different kinds of squats that you may want to try, like a ball squat. You put a ball against the wall. You, are you there? Oh, okay. I'm looking at somebody else's thing. Monitor. Okay. Yeah. So a ball squat is you put a ball against the wall and you just squat against that, and it takes a lot of the pressure off your knees.
Okay.
And I don't know if a step up probably would hurt your knees, but
I did step up earlier this week, so my knee is starting to feel a little better. So what happens is I hurt it, it gets better, it gets better, it gets better, and then I just re-injure it. So there's something wrong and that I need to have fixed. I'm just not ready to do the surgery yet.
yeah.
So it'll just heal better if I am a little lighter. So I can do step-ups, and I probably could do squats right now, but what happens is I start it, and then at some point it just gets re-injured again, usually during some sort of squat activity.
Yeah, you might want to avoid squats altogether, and lunges also, obviously.
Yeah.
And if you got hypertension at your gym,
I'm sure I do.
Look it up. Look up hyperextension, how to do that, and that's a great exercise for your butt and your hamstrings.
Okay.
So I don't know if the leg press hurts your knee.
I think I can do. I didn't even think about doing it, but I think I could do that. Depending on how I think I could do that.
Yeah, put the weight in your heels and just try not to lift too much and see if it hurts. If it does, obviously don't do it.
Okay.
And then deadlifts, I don't know if you've tried them.
I haven't done them since high school, and I don't actually know. I haven't tried since high school. I'd have to even look it up to realize if I'm doing it or not.
I'm hesitant to recommend deadlifts to beginners or people who aren't familiar with them because there's a lot of technique involved, and there's the tendency to tweak your lower back. So if you do decide to do those, you need to really study technique.
Okay.
So for anyone else, again, remember to unmute yourself. I do have a question on the side here. Do I need to eat any differently if I'm lifting weights as opposed to just running?
Oh my God, that's a great question. And I kind of meant to cover that. I always recommend more protein for anyone who's in a calorie deficit, who's trying to lose weight, and anyone who's lifting weights, because muscles require more protein to build and recover. So protein is a huge factor, in any weight loss diet. And especially if you're strength training, I always increase the protein levels. So that means lean protein, and that would be eggs and chicken and turkey and fish. What was I going to say? Tofu. I'm just going off the top of my head here. Lean protein. So I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, that's one thing that you really need to do. I think that's probably the biggest thing for someone in a calorie deficit. Now, if you're trying to build muscle and you're not trying to lose weight, then you need to increase your calories, but you don't want to do that, obviously, if you're trying to lose weight. So enough protein. That's my answer on that.
Suzanne, are there any videos that you would recommend that combine sort of, not necessarily weightlifting, but I guess the compound movements that are more cardio based? Did that make sense?
Yeah, videos. So there's a million of them out there. Jillian Michaels has some. She does a lot of that kind of thing where, it's integrating the higher intensity with the weights. And you can use the lighter weights. I should probably mention that when you're doing that kind of workout. But check her out. And what was the other one? Kathy Freer. Can't remember her name. If anybody knows, pipe up. I can't remember. But that's all I have for you there.
Okay.
Yeah, basically just, you know what, too, if you don't want to do a video, then I would just give you like a template. So I would say, do 30 seconds of an exercise, rest 15 seconds, and do the next exercise for 30 seconds. Rest 15 seconds, and just so forth. And do that for, say, 4 or 5 exercises, and repeat that for say 2 to 3 times. And that's kind of a good formula. And then if you do different muscles for each exercise that you move to, you'll have more resilience to get through this circuit. So you don't want to do squats and then a leg press, which use the same muscles. You want to do squats and then dumbbell chest press, and you can set those up so that you can do them all in one location. So you use dumbbells for everything and just have a station right in front of you with the dumbbells, maybe in a couple of different sizes, and just do your whole circuit right there and time yourself. All you need is a watch, and you're going to get a good workout. One thing I should mention is that when you're strength training, you do have to progress yourself. So you have to continue to add weight, and you have to change things once in a while to continue building muscle, or else your body's going to adapt and it's going to become very easy. So when I say change things, I don't mean change them every week or every session. I mean to change them once every month or 6 weeks. So you need to give your body time to adapt to it, and it's changing during that time, and it's changing actually after it adapts. So you need to give it time to do that before you change it up again. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes people make, is changing too frequently.
I have a follow-up question here to the one about eating differently, and it's what are your thoughts on supplements? Would I need protein powder or any kind of pills if I'm weightlifting?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't recommend supplements. I think the only thing that you might be able to supplement with is protein powder, a whey-based protein powder. That's a lean protein, actually, that I didn't mention that I was trying to think of. The only other thing, and a protein powder might be nice to have before you work out. There's a study out showing that you can recover and build muscle better if you have protein before your workout, within 60 minutes before you strength train. And that like shake that you have with, let's say 20 to 30 grams of protein will really help you recover and build muscle. So yes, you need to have a post-workout snack too, and that would be, let's say, a 2-to-1 ratio of fast-absorbing protein like the whey shake and, carbs. But it's the opposite. You need 2-to-1 carbs to protein after you work out, because you need to replenish your glycogen stores. Your muscles are depleted, and you need to restore the glycogen in your muscles. So yes, a pre-workout snack is good. A post-workout snack is good. And as far as supplements, the only thing I would even venture to say that you might need is branched chain amino acids. They're called BCAAs. And I recommend those for women who are over, let's say, 35 or 40, because it does take us longer when we get older to recover between workouts. And you figure if you're not recovered between your workouts, then you're not able to train effectively the next time you go in the gym. So if you're over 40, I would say you could maybe take BCAAs too.
Right on. Great question. I have another one here about what is the best exercise for building the butt?
Good question. There's a ton of good exercises for building your butt, but I would really focus on, if you don't want to build your leg muscles very much, I wouldn't go so far as into squats, because squats will definitely build your leg muscles. If you want quads and all that, go ahead and do squats. That'll definitely build your butt. Also, kettlebell swings are great for your butt. Hip thrusts and glute bridges. So you want to be doing those glute bridges I talked about, and hip thrusts. You can even add weight to the hip thrust. Put a dumbbell on your hips, or a barbell even is what I do, and that'll build your butt. The hyperextensions I mentioned earlier will build your butt. Basically, I think you should focus on lunges, squats, step-ups, kettlebell swings, and even deadlifts. I mean, all of those will build your butt. Anything that also affects your hamstrings will build your butt, and, to different degrees. So I hope that helps. And then there's isolation exercises you can do at the very end of your workout. If you're really focusing on your butt muscles, then you can do like standing cable kickbacks, or one of those dog hydrant ones where you're on all fours. I can't remember the name.
Oh, yeah.
You're on all fours and your leg is going like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's, everybody wants a builder butt for sure. Fire hydrants. Thank you.
So one of the, it's not a question that came up here, but I see this often in when people are first introduced to strength training, is about footwear in the gym. Does it make a difference from other types of workouts, what kind of footwear you're using for any exercise where leverage is going to be a factor?
Well, it depends on what you're doing. So powerlifters, I mean, you're not a powerlifter, you're not competing, you're not lifting super, super heavy. You can wear whatever you want. Honestly, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you are comfortable and, it feels okay to you. So really, footwear is not very important and there'll be varying opinions on that. But one of my mentors is Jordan Syatt, and he's a world record holding power lifter. And he says the footwear isn't important. So I interviewed him for one of my online groups. And I asked him that question because I was kind of curious what somebody like that would think. And it's just not that important. So
right on. So any other questions? We are 10 after 8 Central Time.
We covered a lot.
Yeah, we did. Well, all right. If we don't have any other questions, Suzanne, I want to thank you again for your time today. This is a lot of fun. I like having you back. And anytime you want to stop by with the village and have a chat with us, I'd be more than honored to have you.
Thank you.
Spend some time with us. Thank you all for joining. Those of you who stuck around, we are going to, I hope, do a follow-up with Suzanne sometime later this year. And Suzanne is also available at workoutnirvana.com. She's got online coaching training programs available there, as well as on Photocracy now. She's got, I think, the third round of, is it the third one?
I think this is my 5th round of Lean and Strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's enrolling now. So if you want to get into my group, it's enrolling now. It starts on Monday.
And where can everyone find you for that?
Probably should go to my website, workoutnirvana.com, and click on online coaching or online training, whatever it is on the menu there. Can't remember now. So yeah, would love to have you. And thank you for listening. Good luck.
Right on. Thanks so much, Suzanne. Good night, everyone.
Good night.